We want to be able to see what will change supply, what will shift our supply curve, what are our factors of supply. So the first one is going to be the prices of factors of production, or otherwise stated input prices. What are the things that we're going to use to produce whatever it is we're talking about? So if, say, we're talking about pizza, the inputs could be something like cheese or the labor or the wheat or the pepperoni. If the price of one of those factors of production or input prices increases, so if the price of labor or the price of cheese increases, supply is going to decrease. So then the supply curve would shift to the left. Another one is going to be prices of related goods produced. Now we had prices of related goods under demand, but here it's just a little bit different. We're still going to break it down into two different types of goods. The first is going to be substitute in production. So I have limited resources and I can use my resources to produce one thing or something else. So for example, if I am a farmer in Iowa, I could use my land to produce corn or I could use it to produce soybeans. I can't use the same land to produce both. So if I produce one, I'm not producing the other. So if the price, say, of corn goes up, then the supply of soybeans is going to go down. If the price of corn goes up, I want to supply more corn. So then I'm not going to use my land to produce the soybeans. Okay. So the other type of good would be a complement in production. So they have to be produced together. So for example, if I raise cattle, I can provide beef, I can supply beef. If the price of beef goes up, I'm going to want to supply more of it. And then when I provide the beef or when I produce the beef, I get that sort of side product of the leather, the hide of the cow. So if the price of beef goes up, I want to supply more beef, then I get more leather to go with that. So if the if the price of a complement in production goes up, then the supply will go up. Okay, the next one is going to be expected future prices. That was also on our factors of demand list. This one's sort of the opposite though. So if I'm the supplier and I'm anticipating the price of something going up in the future, I don't want to sell it now. I want to wait till the price actually goes up. So the price is expected to go up in the future. Supply is going to decrease today. Also, number of suppliers. Number of suppliers is pretty straightforward. If there's more suppliers, there's going to be more supply. So if we only had one, say, pizza restaurant in the community, we're not probably going to get very much pizza. But if we have 10 pizza suppliers, then we're going to get more pizza. Technology is also a factor of supply. So if there is technology which makes us be able to produce new products cheaper, the cost of production goes down, then supply will increase. So advances in technology increase the supply and the supply curve is going to shift to the right. And then the last factor is going to be state of nature. So what's the weather like? So we're very familiar with hurricanes in our area. So if we have a hurricane, that destroys a whole bunch of stuff. And so supply is going to decrease if we have a natural disaster. For example, in our citrus industry, when we have hurricanes, then that decreases supply of citrus. So this is what your supply curve looks like. You've got price on the y-axis, quantity on the x-axis. So my supply curve is upward sloping. If the price goes up, there's going to be an increase in quantity supplied. If the price goes down, there's going to be a decrease in quantity supplied. That quantity supply is only going to change with price. Now, if one of those other factors change, let's say there's an increase in the number of suppliers, or the price of an input or factor of production goes down, we're going to see an increase in supply that's going to shift to the right. Now, be careful here because it sort of looks like it goes down because it's sort of aiming down, but any movements to the right are increases. Now, if we have a decrease, say we have fewer suppliers, or there's some sort of weather disaster, we're going to see a decrease in supply, and that's going to shift to the left.